Hello and welcome to Centurion's Corner, and today we are doing another hangout video, and actually we got something here from every single franchise. The only thing I haven't got on here really is probably Power Rangers, but yeah, we have got Star Wars, we have got Marvel Legends, we got G.I. Joe, and we got something on the end here which you probably, if you're not from the UK, because I don't think it actually was out in the UK, you can tell me if it was or not. But yeah, a little bit of a nostalgia part there on the end. So I've been trying to do quite a few different customs this week and sort of like doing lives. I've been doing shorts as well and just sort of like bringing it onto the channel in certain ways where it doesn't really need to be a really long sort of bit of content video. Really, it's just a little bit easier kind of step-by-step kind of guides there. So a couple of weeks ago I actually did the Biker Scout and we actually turned him completely black. We actually done a live on this one. I used semi-gloss black at the top here, and in certain areas on the sort of more kind of fabric areas I used a flat black. Even though the plastic is quite glossy underneath, so it's always got that kind of gloss. I've actually gone over it with a few coats of the sprays as well, which I introduce you to them because of these they kind of made other customs as well. So yeah, looking at the actual details up here, we've had to add on the little grey lines. I've had to put the extra kind of little, I don't know what that symbol is on the side there, but yeah, I guess it's kind of like a little symbol part there that they have on the helmet, so we had to add all that back on. A little red line on the back there, and also his Imperial kind of colours there at the top. Going down the actual figure itself, yeah, I'm quite happy how it's turned out. I think he does look pretty cool, to be honest. You can just see at the bottom there where I kind of gave up. I was going to originally kind of keep the sandy colours there for his soles, but it looked a little bit off, so I kind of painted over the top of it. But yeah, really good coverage and all. Got the extra details there on the back as well. So I'm really happy how this one's turned out. So for this, actually at the end of it, I went over it using masking tape, so I completely covered it in gloss, which is this one here, TS13 clear. I had to ask the guy in the model shop because I've always used ones from like Halfords and sort of car things, and most of on this, it's a little bit kind of well, just a little bit foreign at the front. It doesn't say anything of what it is or anything down there, just says spray paint and whatnot. Just around on the back here though, it just says TS13 clear, and it's actually gloss. So I completely covered the figure in the gloss on there, and then once it was actually dried, I just taped off all the parts that were gloss, and I went over it with this one here, which is the flat clear TS18. And because of this, how it comes out, it sort of paved way for a few of these other customs here, so you will be seeing this pop up a few times. It actually dulled down the black on the actual undersuit as well, made it more of a little bit of a grey there, and actually really dulled down on these colours as well, because they were really glossy. Even though the camera really picks up on the light, taking it off from the camera, it's not as glossy as it's sort of appearing, and you can actually see the sort of two differences here. So yeah, I'm really happy how this one's turned out, and I think he looks pretty cool. Definitely a needed Imperial on the shelf, that is for sure. So next up we have got an armoured Spider-Man here. So I was at work, I was sitting up the top there having my coffee, and I looked over the road, and just on the floor there was a Spider-Man figure, and I thought, God, that looks like a Marvel Legend. If it's a Marvel Legend, I'll go and pick it up. So I went out there, walked across the road, and yeah, it was this. Well, it weren't this one here. This is the one I already got. His arms were on the wrong way round, and his hands, he didn't have any hands. So I've already picked up this guy. I already purchased him. He was already on the shelf, done a review and everything like that. But this guy was slightly a little bit battle damaged. And so I thought, well, I've already got the original. There's no point painting him up to be silver or anything like that. So let's have a little bit of fun. So I was talking to Callum, you know, from over on SKAPARI and stuff like that, thinking, what should I do? And he said, do it in Centurion's colours. And I'm like, well, it's like blue and red anyway, so that is a Spider-Man. But it kind of got my brain going, really. So I used some new metallic red paint at the top here and the metallic blue paint as well. I just thought I'm going to try it and give it a go. It looked alright, so then I actually went over with all this sort of like with the silver chrome pens as well to highlight the sort of veins through the actual figure as well, and going around on the back. Unfortunately, what I should have done, there was a few bits where the actual silver paint was chipped off beforehand, but because of the red is slightly a little bit see-through. It was actually highlighting quite a lot of the black kind of lines on here. So what I did was, where it's kind of sort of battle damage, I put a bit of silver over there, so it kind of looks like the paint has been sort of scraped off. And we've gone around on these bits as well. I've actually blacked out the lines as well with webbing as well, and I changed the silver over in the inner side spider there to silver. So yeah, I'm kind of happy how this one's turned out. I think it actually looks better than the original. And again, I went over the top of this with the gloss colour. It looked really cool. I kind of wanted to go for a really kind of sleek line look for the actual undersuit part, but it didn't look right. The light was picking up all these extra textures and stuff like that, and it just didn't look right. So then I kind of taped off all the armor parts again and went over it with the matte clear one here. And yeah, it just looks a lot better now. It just like really brings up the detail parts on there. Kind of left the eyes to be all gloss as well. So yeah, just really happy how it's turned out. So yeah, looking pretty cool. And now I've got this funky Spider-Man on the shelf, and I've gone around the silver parts around there to highlight all those sort of details in his fingers. So I'm really happy how this one's turned out, to be honest. So with that, with the excitement of this Spider-Man, I actually picked up, well, I had this on the side for a long time. This is the ones that they kind of come out for about $9.99. You could pick them up from Tesco's or Sainsbury's, and had this figure for a while. And I'm not a massive MCU sort of fan for the Spider-Man, and I thought, oh, do you know what, I'm going to get the Gundam marker. So with this, I painstakingly went around putting all this sort of like the webbing in there in every single groove as well. Once it was in place, I then went over it with the flat clear, and oh my god, it just made the character just pop. It's kind of coming off a little bit orange here, but it's actually really dulled down the red that it almost doesn't even look like plastic. It looks like a kind of like a spandex cloth kind of material. There's no kind of shine or anything on there, and it looks great. And it's sealed in all those sort of web lines around on the back of the head, coming down here, so adding all those extra colours. And then down on the boots as well, it just really finishes off the character. And I kind of went to get him ready as well for the new Spider-Man 3-pack coming out, because I'm not a massive fan of the Tom Holland suit that was used at the end part of that. So I'm hoping this one will sort of fall in line with it. But yeah, really liking how it's popped out. Now, because I did this and I used a flat coat on it, I really kind of bravidly went along and sprayed my Renew Your Vows Spider-Man. I haven't added anything to it apart from just using the TS80 flat clear on here over the top of the actual suit itself, and wow, it stops all that shine. It doesn't look like plastic. It looks like a premium toy, to be honest with you. It looks really cool, and I can't wait to take some pictures of it. I'm building up the bravery to do my Ben Reilly. So these two are normally the same kind of colours on here. Yes, it looks quite orangey compared to what it was, but in real life it's not. But yeah, look how glossy this looks, you know, where the light keeps hitting it and stuff like that. It doesn't look like a spandex suit. So with this, it looks great. So I think I will brave it, and actually will kind of put the flat coat on here as well, and I think I'm going to go off and do a lot of my figures as well. I really highly recommend it. It's the first time I started using sort of like sprays and stuff as well. I normally just kind of leave my figures, but yeah, it's really making an effect. So you can see the difference on there. These two are normally the same, pretty much the same identical colours, and yeah, you can see the difference in them now. So I will be doing that to my Ben Reilly, my pride and my joy of my favourite figure ever. Anyway, next up we have got Falcon on the actual channel the other day. I done his review, and lo and behold, he didn't turn out that great. So in the short, if you have watched it already, I took off the dusty head and then put on some black paint over the top there, just to give his hair a little bit of colour. I might need to top up around on that side there. So the actual dusty head fits this guy so well. You don't even have to modify it. It plugs straight onto there as well, and I think it just gives that really good young looking enthusiastic marine kind of guy what Falcon is, to be honest with you. And as you can see as well, is I've done his shotgun, made it all black, done a bit of dry brushing on the end here with a bit of silver, and even on these shotgun shells as well, we've added like the gold parts on there, and then the red as well, so it's giving it that kind of really good sort of realistic look. Taking that away, we can actually have a good look at his actual parts on these what do you call these bandoliers, I guess. And down the bottom down here underneath on the pants, I actually put some super glue, pulled it down so it stopped riding up all the time, because these things really do my head in, especially when it's supposed to be sort of pretend shirts at the bottom. So I've glued it in place, so whenever you move it around, it's not going to move with the figure at all. It's not going to ride up either. With the actual sort of like bandolier, it was bright green beforehand, just adding that brown paint as well, and then a bit of silver on each of the clips, as you can see all around. I've done a bit of buff paint on here, black handle on the knife as well. I've done a bit of gun metal on the sort of like that sort of comms thing, I don't know what it is at the top there, but yeah, just browned off everything else. Just giving some little silver details in certain areas, and just silvering off all those little clips and stuff on his hand parts on there. I gave him the Batman Rolex watch as well, so he can blend in with all the other guys. That's all got their other ones. Just silvering off those little kind of studs as well on his shoes, and at the bottom on his sort of spats down here, I've made brown as well rather than green, just to break up that kind of too much green that's going on there. But yeah, now this is my Falcon. This is exactly what I wanted, and I'm really kind of excited to put him on the shelf as well. But last but no means least, so if you're from the UK, let me know in America and stuff as well, because I'm not too sure if it actually come out of the UK, but there was an 80s program called Nightmare, and it was basically young kids, probably the age of 13 to about 15. They go on a show, and there's one kid that puts a helmet on, and he has to go around like these sort of dungeons solving riddles and stuff like that, but obviously the kid couldn't see, and it was these mates that had to guide him around. So yeah, with influence of that, I've taken this helmet. It's actually the helmet that come with the Punisher, and I hadn't done anything to it from behind. Using the Tom Holland here, you know, for a young adult, I just thought, you know, putting that helmet on there, all I had to do was cut off the horns and put them the other way around, and then just a bit of bronze, gold and brown as well that I've used on the actual helmet as well, just to give it that kind of sort of like weathered look and a bit bashed and stuff like that. And it just gives that old nostalgia sort of parts there, so it can go on my 80s shelf next to my He-Man and Skeletor. And yeah, I'm just kind of happy for having that on the shelf. It's just kind of something that you wouldn't normally see. And yeah, it's looking pretty cool. I did actually go off, tried a little bit of flat coat as well on Ben Reilly here to see how it would look on sort of like some other figures. And this guy was a bootleg head, so it was really glossy, and obviously I painted his hair to dull it down as well. So yeah, now I've got my Ben Reilly. He's all sort of flat coated, and I think I will be going off and using it a hell of a lot more. This guy probably won't stand up because he's got those old shoes, but yeah, no, see, I'm going to put these back on the shelf, I think. So anyway, thank you all so much for joining me on this one. Don't forget to comment down below. If you need any advice or what I'm using, just let me know in the comments, or you can hit me up on Instagram as well, in the descriptions all and down below. You can join the channel for 99p or 99 cents from wherever you're from. And until next time, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye!